not to embarrass him.
That's my job, you know, embarrass people.
Let me ask you about some of the people you work with, because how amazing it must have been to work with Marlon Brando. I mean, he must have been someone you grew up admiring, I would have thought.
Yeah, he was incredible. I mean, he became a great mentor, a great friend, a great source of knowledge. He was incredibly generous and supportive with me. You couldn't ask for a better...
Did he offer advice, or did you seek advice from him as a young actor?
He would offer advice. He would offer advice to me. If he saw me do a talk show or something like that. There was one time I did a talk show, and the lady asked me about my kids or something, and I said, "Oh, they're great, my kids." And he called me immediately afterwards and said, "You can't talk about your kids. Don't do it." And he really laid into me about it.
So he had specific ideas of what you shouldn't do.
Yeah. He just said, "Don't talk about your kids, man. Don't talk about your kids."
You worked with him on the Don Juan movie, of course.
Yeah.
When you get to work with someone like that, are you still someone who sort of seeks them out as a friend almost? I mean, do you want to sort of hang out with them? Do you want to visit? Are you impressed in a sort of fan way, or is it just business already? You kind of overcome all that?
No, I mean initially when you meet someone as sort of a legend. I mean, this kind of legend, this myth. No, there is a part of you that's deeply sort of stupefied,
slightly intimidated.
Yeah, but at the same time, he made me feel so comfortable, and sort of wouldn't let you go. He wouldn't let you go in that direction. So after a while, this Marlon Brando just became Marlon.
Yeah,
and he became one of the funniest humans I've ever known.
It must be, and for you working with, when you're directing, I guess you can't say it's your first day with Jack Nicholson in the Batman movie. You can't let that be Jack Nicholson to you. You can't be intimidated by him.
No, but it's great because making movies is quite surreal. So it's just another surreal moment. No, I've been lucky. I mean, the only one that almost ever beat me up was Jack Palance, and because I just gave a very simple direction: walk out of the bathroom. It was the first shot of that movie. Please just come out of the bathroom. Ooh, I've done over 100 movies. You've only done 2. And he almost beat me up right there on the spot.
But had you given him specific instructions
about
the
bathroom?
He didn't like that. He didn't even do that. I think he came ready to try and exert his will on you. I think that was obviously the case there.
He's bigger than I was.
But he did the one-arm press-ups, didn't he? Exactly. So he could have kicked your ass very easily, couldn't he?
Easy.
But you used to be a bit wild. I don't know if ever you were physical like that, but you used to be a bit wild, and that's kind of gone now. You've sorted all that out, or you just hide it a bit deeper.
Yeah, I had it a bit deeper than that.
But do you ever cut loose? Or what kind of a drunk are you, Johnny?
What kind of a drunk?
Yeah.
Well, constant.
Are you a friendly kind of guy, a drunk, or do you get a little bit confused, or you sleep? What do you do?
No, it doesn't confuse me. No, it makes me happy.
And you're not really that big a drinker, are you?
When I'm with him, I am.
Yeah. You have to keep up. Okay, let me ask you about your next project, because you're working together again soon. I don't know if it's your very next movie. Is it the next project you're doing is together, or you have other stuff in between?
No, there's a couple other things I have, and then Tim and I are working on developing this other thing that we.
And is it going to be The House of Dark Shadows? Is that right?
Yeah, Dark Shadows. Okay. Yeah, which is.
Well, now that wasn't that well known over here.
No,
I don't think, but it was a really weird kind of cult thing in America.
Yeah, it was on TV in the afternoon. It was like a supernatural soap opera that we'd all race home to see. It was on black and white, like in the afternoon, and it was just the weirdest vibe of any show I've ever seen.
Yeah, a gothic soap opera.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like domestic and romantic entanglements, and then there was a vampire involved as well. Is that right?
Yeah, but there was some of the worst camera moves that you've ever seen in your whole life. I mean, and strangely, a lot of flies landing on actors' faces and then still just trying to act through it. It was amazing.
But are you going to try and do that? Are you going to try and make it look...
Yeah, we're going to fill the room with flies and make the actors not pretend that they're there.
Do you ever, if you go to Johnny with an idea, has he ever said no to you for anything? Has there ever been a time when you've wanted him to do something? I mean, we know you've had him fudder whacking now, and you made him, well, obviously he had to sing for Sweeney Todd, but have there been things that you haven't been comfortable doing, or are you kind of open to any challenge?
I always fear that he's going to come up with something that just makes me so uncomfortable, mostly like some kind of dance thing,
But you wouldn't accept a role if it was a kind of a straightforward leading man role, would you?
Well, it depends, I suppose. I mean, it depends on the character. You know, I mean, if there's something underneath that might be interesting, or maybe there's a different way to attack it or something.
So if there was, well, I guess something for you to get your teeth in, but you wouldn't do what we consider a romantic comedy necessarily, or would you?
Oh no, I couldn't do that. No. Jesus, I really couldn't. I'd be a wreck.
So I bet you get asked, don't you?
Well, I mean, I've been asked a couple of times, but it's just not my. I couldn't do it. There's no way.
Yeah. But you could be made to look presentable enough even now. I mean, if we got rid of whatever the hell that is.
I know. We're teetering. We could be teetering on the brink here.
How long do you think this, so far very successful, and obviously kind of on a personal level, very satisfying relationship will last? You want to carry on making movies for as long as you both can, or do you have a kind of a game plan?
Well, as long as he keeps not watching the movies we've made together, there's still a chance we'll